Welcome to the Damage Report. I'm Jordan Uhl, filling in for John Idarola, and unfortunately, joining me today, Brett Erlich.
Bad
Brett.
boys, what are you going to do when, wait, did you insult me just now?
No.
Usually this is triumph. Now you're like, oh, I'm so sad to say it. Jordan, what are you wearing today? Who are you wearing today?
Oh, I'm wearing Jeremiah Smith. I'm wearing the Jeremiah Smith #4 Ohio State alternate jersey because it is the week of the game, Ohio State and the school up north.
That's fun. I'm very proud of you. Mish. No, I'm very proud of you. I also am sporting some things that I grabbed from this room. We already won big game. Stanford already defeated Cal today in what we call big game. So you just call it the game. We call it big game. We beat the
Big game.
weenies.
Okay.
UCLA coming up this weekend, UCLA USC. So I got my UCLA kicking ball right here. And the UCLA football vault.
Oh boy.
And for those of you not familiar, Mickey Erlich right there, that's my dad. When they ran out of the Rose, they won the Rose Bowl, defeating University of Michigan State. I think it was 14-12. Bob Styles' final play of the game, defeating the gutty little Bruins, defeating the #1 Michigan State Spartans. For people who fight and tan. It was great. So I'm really excited. It's a huge weekend for football. How are you watching the game or the game?
I will do what I always do, and I will sit on the couch, not talk to anybody, bite my nails, and just stress myself out until it is over, no matter what the score is.
I hope you guys win.
Oh, I hope so too. It's been 4 years, so this feels like the year they rebound and reset that clock. But we've got some news to get into. Brett, are you ready? Ready to talk about the news?
I like how you went from the most masculine discussion ever to like NPR intro voice. We've got some news today. Yes, I am ready. Whether I am or not, you've been more than fair.
All right, let's start with this.
I can't tell you what's going to happen because I don't know. You have very professional people headed up by the Attorney General and Todd Blanche and Lindsay Halligan, who's very smart, good lawyer, very good lawyer.
Well, clearly she's not, because her highest profile case just got tossed. Trump got some terrible news yesterday as two of his biggest political enemies, James Comey and Letitia James, got both of their cases thrown out. Here are the details. U.S. District Judge Cameron Curry said she found the prosecutor who brought the cases, former Trump attorney Lindsay Halligan, was not lawfully appointed. She agreed with Comey, who moved to dismiss the case on the grounds that Halligan's appointment was illegal. Because Ms. Halligan had no lawful authority to present the indictment, I will grant Mr. Comey's motion and dismiss the indictment, rather. Curry wrote in the finding that Halligan lacked the authority to present a case to a grand jury. All actions flowing from Ms. Halligan's defective appointment, including securing and signing Mr. Comey's indictment, were unlawful exercises of executive power and are hereby set aside, the judge wrote, describing the insurance lawyer as a former White House aide with no prior prosecutorial experience. She issued a separate and similar ruling dismissing the James case. This case presents the unique, if not unprecedented, situation where an unconstitutionally appointed prosecutor exercising power she did not lawfully possess acted alone in conducting a grand jury proceeding and securing an indictment, the ruling said. Because Halligan was the only prosecutor to present the cases and sign the indictments should be voided, the judge found. Trump's team, understandably, was not happy. Attorney General Pam Bondi reacted to the dismissal of the cases by saying during a news conference in Memphis that the Justice Department will be taking all available legal action, including an immediate appeal. Bondi also defended Halligan, calling her an excellent attorney. Karoline Leavitt went on Fox to declare that this isn't over. Take a look.
What I will say is that everybody knows that James Comey lied to Congress. It's as clear as day. And this judge took an unprecedented action to throw these cases out to shield James Comey and Letitia James from accountability based on a technical ruling. And the administration disagrees with that technical ruling. We believe the attorney in this case, Lindsay Halligan, is not only extremely qualified for this position, but she was in fact legally appointed. And I know the Department of Justice will be appealing this in very short order. So maybe James Comey should pump the brakes on his victory lap.
Well, James Comey did do a victory lap, but he knows this is not the end. Take a look.
I'm grateful that the court ended the case against me, which was a prosecution based on malevolence and incompetence, and a reflection of what the Department of Justice has become under Donald Trump, which is heartbreaking. I know that Donald Trump will probably come after me again, and my attitude is going to be the same. I'm innocent, I am not afraid, and I believe in an independent federal judiciary.
Trump himself hasn't said anything as of now. Someone probably just tackled him before he could do so it doesn't ruin their appeal. But we got to keep the phone out of his hands, Brett. What do you make of this development here?
I mean, there's a lot to that you can choose to talk about, but like she said, they're saying that essentially the Trump administration couldn't find a real lawyer with that job who would go after Comey. Like they had to, she was the she's the interim person who was chosen because she was the only lackey who was like, yes, I am an insurance lawyer, but in this case, I do, and this is my opinion, I do want to rise to the top of the ranks of Trump lackeys. So yes, I will bring this case against James Comey. And this judge was like, no, you can't. I'm sorry. Who are you? You don't even go here. Please leave. And the funny thing about the Comey case is included in the judgment from the judge that she's throwing it out. She went further than just saying, sorry, this isn't working. Fix it. She's like, I'm throwing out the case. And so unless that judgment gets overturned, the statute of limitations on Comey prosecution for this specific instance, according to the Washington Post, has expired. So it looks pretty great for Comey. Now, I don't really care about Comey. I don't really care about Letitia James. I don't think most people actually give a crap. But with stuff like this, with stuff like Epstein, I think a lot of the human beings in America are like, I feel so powerless in my economic situation right now that I just want to have something I can direct this anger toward. And if you are a Republican, Trump MAGA person, and you really need to see Comey go down, first of all, that'll take forever because he's 7 feet tall. It'll take him a very long time to go down. But second, like, why is this so important to you? In fact, focusing on this opens you up for these kinds of like really embarrassing losses in the public eye. Like the Republicans are like, oh, Letitia James is completely an illegal prosecution. Yeah, well, she won it. You are doing these weird things and you're not winning it. Like that's so depressing that this is like a battle you chose and you still lost it.
Yeah, this is sad. This is bad for our system, bad for our democracy, but there's a small sliver of it that I do find enjoyable and humorous. And this isn't new to this second Trump term. Do you remember when he appointed like a blogger to be a federal judge?
Yeah.
And even Republicans in the Senate were like, what? Absolutely not. Like you've never even practiced a case. You never argued a case. You're not even a real lawyer. You're just a blogger. And it's like just that to the nth degree here. It's like this person has no idea what they're doing. They were illegally appointed and you just blew your big case going after your political enemies. I mean, this was a purely avoidable issue but for the Trump administration if they really wanted to go after these people, but they're too sloppy and they're too lazy to even do it the right way.
Like it's lazy, but also maybe this is like them doing too much. Cause like they should have, like, usually they did look high and low for someone who would prosecute this case. They just couldn't find one. So they're like, oh, we did all the work. I definitely am not going to even not try. So can we pull up the couch cushions and find an insurance lawyer to do this? Fine, do it.
Oh, I mean, you don't want to pull up those couch cushions if JD Vance has been around. But let's get into some of the reactions. This dismissal, at least for now, is extremely embarrassing for the Trump administration, and they're getting criticized for bungling this case. Take a look.
What this decision does is it calls out the two fundamental flaws with both of these prosecutions, the Comey and the Letitia James prosecutions. One, malice. The only reason Lindsay Halligan was there as the prosecutor in the first place is because the real prosecutors refused to charge it and got pushed out. And then second, on top of that, just incompetence, the inability to return a grand jury indictment and to follow the basic rules. So it's a dark day for the Justice Department. Sure, they can appeal, but I don't love their chances. To lose not just one, but two, your two biggest cases, again, on such a basic defect that you couldn't follow the basic law of just installing somebody who was technically qualified. And when I say qualified, I don't mean resume, I don't mean how good a lawyer, I just mean met the basic requirements of law. That's humiliating.
MAGA isn't happy either, and instead of blaming the Trump administration for appointing incompetent Halligan, they're turning on Pam Bondi. Here's a couple examples over on X, the Everything app. Go Detroit Brian 88. Wonder what he means by that. F our government for letting Comey and James go. Judge dismissed both their cases. I give up. Spelled that wrong. we're not dealing with the brightest.
Sick, dude, sick.
I'm going to turn into a Democratic criminal and steal millions and get away with it, since the Republicans do nothing and Democrats are crooks and nothing ever happens. The average MAGA guy there. Pretty Patriot says fire incompetent Pam Bondi for screwing up the Comey and James trials, so that the statute of limitations has run out now on Comey. Blank you, Pam Bondi, you feckless POS. You did this on purpose, so he'd walk. We the people will never see justice for J6 or anything else. That's like, I'm so glad they mentioned that, Brett, because it's like every time I see one of these political prosecutions, like every time they're going after one of their enemies, they're like, oh well, you came after us. Yeah, people went after you because you incited an insurrection. I mean, what do you make of some of these reactions and the base turning on Pam Bondi instead of Trump?
I love it because it's so funny. Because Pam Bondi, she's like, I'm one with this guy. We're good. They love him. They're gonna love me. But it just is this indicator of how bad the Trump people are doing. The closer to Trump they direct their anger, right? Like you should be, if they could, they would have said like this attorney dropped the ball. But they know that they can't even say that because that attorney was like the only one who was willing to pick up this ball and try to shoot it at Comey. And so like Pam Bondi is there because, originally back in the day in Florida, she received some money from Donald Trump and then dropped an investigation into him as Attorney General of Florida. And the favor has been returned. Now she's the Attorney General of America and she will do anything for him. That's what's so funny. But like whenever I see these tweets from people like Pretty Patriot, now all I do is try to find out where they're based. And I am shocked when someone named Pretty P4547 did connect via a United States app store. Jury's out on Detroit Brian, AKA Ghost Pepper 8888. I haven't done his yet, but like the 88 is kind of sus because of very I guess Nazi references. But my God, like they're willing to get mad at everyone but Trump, I think is the obvious thing. When really he is the one who is mad that he is a felon. And he has always wanted to lock up his political enemies, dating back to lock her up when he was running against Hillary Clinton. He has not been able to do that. He wants to be a despot, like someone in the kind of country where we do lock up our political enemies. But like, yeah, that's basically it. Their argument is that Trump there's people racked up a bunch of felonies against Trump. He wants to rack up some felonies against someone comparable to him, but he can't get anyone but Letitia James and Comey. And even then, he can't even execute in a way that a district judge would say is legal to even pursue the trial.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for them. It's embarrassing for the base for refusing to acknowledge the source of this problem. Everyone else is just a flak jacket for Trump. Everyone else in his administration has to take the fall for him. They're doing it because of him. They're doing it because that's what he wants. He's vindictive. And the fact that the base can't recognize that. They're complaining about Democrats being crooks. The only reason Pam Bondi is attorney general is because she's down with the crookery. Like that's it. The entire administration is filled with these people. How do you not see that yet? But we've got more, so let's get to another story, starting with this.
You can't have a soldier out on the battlefield or conducting a classified order questioning whether that order is lawful or whether they should follow through.
The Trump administration really wants to prosecute Democrats for wrong speech. So they're sending Karoline Leavitt out to make the case that soldiers are just mindless drones who must just follow orders, no matter what that order entails. And maybe I'm being unfair, but here are her comments in fuller context. Take a look.
They can't identify illegal orders because there are no illegal orders. But they were suggesting, again, to the 1.3 million active duty service members in the military today that if you think an order is illegal, you don't have to follow it. Actually, that's against the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It explicitly states, and I want to read this language precisely, that service members have a legal obligation under the US UCMJ to obey lawful orders, and that orders are presumed to be lawful. You can't have a soldier out on the battlefield or conducting a classified order questioning whether that order is lawful or whether they should follow through. There must be a chain of command in our military.
You know, Karoline, we can pull from the UCMJ too. Under the UCMJ, a service member may be punished by court-martial for failure to obey any lawful general order or regulation. The UCMJ does not define what lawful means. The rules for courts martial say that an order is lawful unless it is contrary to the Constitution, the laws of the United States, or lawful superior orders, or for some other reason is beyond the authority of the official issuing it. The rules go on to say that this inference does not apply to a patently illegal order, such as one that directs the commission of a crime. Finally, the rules say the lawfulness of an order is a question of law to be determined by the military judge. That determination normally can be made only after a service member refuses or obeys an order in a court-martial or a war crimes tribunal. Now, two examples of potentially illegal orders would be troops being involved in deportations, specifically if the destination country may torture them, like El Salvador or South Sudan. Another violation would be if Trump orders the military to use force against civilian protesters, which, absent an insurrection, violates the Posse Comitatus Act. Brett, they are trying to get so hung up on the Democrats not articulating something specifically in that video rather than just what it was. Like, it's just general instructions. Hey, reminder, you can do this. And even in their defense, you see it. Well, they must follow lawful orders. And then they usually in their messaging try to skirt around the fact that they're not explicitly acknowledging an illegal order coming down. And then they have a right and an obligation to refuse it. What do you think?
First of all, Posse Comitatus, it sounds like a euphemism for a sex act.
Thank you for your input. Okay, let's get on to our next.
That's all I was thinking. But secondly, like no one. This is just like a bubble of annoying little news. in a larger story. This is the kind of thing that is that is annoying. It's stupid. No one knows. Like for her to say, Karoline Leavitt sounds way too much like Nixon in the Frost Nixon interview, where he was like, if the president says it, then it's not illegal. That's what it is. It just echoes and seems so much like if it comes from the president's very obvious, like dictatorial and authoritarian instincts, that the goal of Trump is to have an America where where the state is him, the only laws that matters are the ones that come from his mouth. That's why they've stacked the Supreme Court to basically rubber stamp whatever Trump wants, whatever anyone right of center wants. And I just don't think that's real. Like enough of us have seen like a few good men to know that there is some kind of way you can say that orders were illegal. And this is coming. What's funny to me is that there are two people on different sides of this story, two different kinds of people on two different sides of this story. There are the Trump side who are saying what should and shouldn't go within the military. And then there are people who have served in the military telling you what does and doesn't work in the military. And obviously you can't just have everybody disobey orders. But in this scenario, enough of Americans are being like, what Trump is asking people to do is horrible. Whether it's legal or not, it's horrible. I don't like to see all these horrible things happen. So if you get asked to do them, you should probably not. That's my basic take on it.
Yeah, and now we're seeing that this fight has expanded to potential criminal charges. We are going to hear from Karoline Leavitt once more on a different angle. Take a look.
The White House is supportive of the Department of War's investigation into Senator Mark Kelly. And I think what Senator Mark Kelly was actually trying to do was intimidate the 1.3 million active duty service members who are currently serving in our United States Armed Forces with that video that he and his Democrat colleagues put out.
Mark Kelly has been all over the media, ripping the administration a new one over this. But before we hear from him, I want to play a snippet of that video that Leavitt said was intended to intimidate. Take a look.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Kristi Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders. Your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you. We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
So it's instructions rather than intimidation. But what did Trump say in response? Seditious behavior, punishable by death. This is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors, lock them up. President DJT. Now, Mark Kelly responded with this.
Well, I've had a missile blow up next to my airplane. I've been shot down, nearly shot down multiple times. I've flown a rocket ship into space 4 times, built by the lowest bidder. I'm not going to be silenced here. Is it stressful? I've been stressed by things more important than Donald Trump trying to intimidate me into shutting my mouth and not doing my job. He didn't like what I said. I'm going to show up for work every day, support the Constitution, do my job, hold this administration accountable, hold this president accountable when he is out of line. That's the responsibility of every U.S. senator and every member of Congress. He's not going to silence us.
I mean, I think that's the right attitude here for him. It's just just ignore it. Anybody that matters, anybody whose opinion matters will know them zeroing in on Mark Kelly is bogus. I saw a post earlier today. They were questioning the alignment of his medals on his uniform in one picture. It's like, okay, I don't care. Brett, what do you think?
Like, here's the thing is like Mark Kelly and company are like, don't do illegal stuff. And Trump's like mad about it. That's what it boils down to. He's like, they're like, hi, we were soldiers, and many of us are retired, some of us, don't break the law. And Trump's like, what are they doing? We should investigate these people who said don't break the law. Also, like, that's Mark Kelly running for president of the United States. That is a lane, he's in it. And he just is like, I went to space. You're just a space cadet. Like, Donald Trump, President Bone Spurs versus people who served in the military. And what's at stake here? Non-specific, don't break the law stuff. They didn't put a name on it. And the fact that people are filling in the blanks with, well, they're probably talking about like going to Home Depot and locking up people who are trying to like, install a fence so they can feed their family. Like, don't do that. Don't do illegal stuff. They're filling in the blanks with things that are so obvious to us. This is what is just a bunch of symptoms that prove it looks really bad for the president of the United States right now. And he's flailing. And it's getting harder and harder for him to maintain that bravado, where at the same time, he's like cozying up to socialists in the White House. Like, I love this chapter. It's way overdue. Hopefully, Trump isn't able to get any wins in anytime soon. But like, I love that this is blown up in his face.
Yeah, it is a very odd time for this administration, but bad for the country. However, tremendous content. We got to take a break. We've got some comments to get into, so stick around. We got more on the other side.
Yeah. Hey, Jordan, you want to go on a ride? I looked up Detroit Brian 88's bio.
Let's hear it.
So first, he is based in the United States. This is his like banner, his photo is like a USA hockey player. His banner is, I want to say, Red Fox, saying how about 5? Anyway, so his bio is One Pride, Detroit Tigers and Red Wings.
Yeah.
One Pride being the Lions. I love my wife. Then mentions her handle where she has a show where she investigates paranormal activity. No DMs, Second Amendment, FJB for F Joe Biden. And then my favorite, no crypto, no porn. And back the blue.
Okay.
I love that. No crypto, no porn. It's like, could you listen really quick? I got some things to say, but first, no crypto, no porn. Okay. And this was the guy.
No crypto. Also, I can't believe the Democrats are challenging our beloved president, Donald Trump. Who, I mean, like, he's like the crypto guy. Like, what?
Also, I can't parse no crypto, no porn. Is that like no justice, no peace? You don't let me have no crypto, I won't let you have porn.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, I know what I'm doing this weekend. I'm taking to the streets. We got a new movement.
No crypto, no porn.
All right, let's get into some of your comments. TYT.com member comments. Nostra Science says Trump wants the FBI's glory days back when protesting nuns, people who differed on politics, and black leadership like MLK Jr. were targeted. I mean, certainly the application of the domestic terrorism label to advocacy groups, starting with international anti-fascist groups, that's going to come home. Just like the same designation for the narco-terrorist, drug boats, which are really just fishing boats. The labels there, the legal justifications there could easily, as explained by Nick Terce's excellent reporting in The Intercept, could easily be transferred domestically. And then they would have, in their minds, legal justification for force because it's in self-defense. So extremely worrying, good point. Old Woodsman 53 says in June of 2020, during the George Floyd protests in Washington, D.C., Trump asked then Secretary of Defense Mark Esper, can't you just shoot them? Just shoot them in the legs or something. It sounds like Trump was on the precipice of delivering an illegal order, but there were guardrails back then. Yeah, Esper said you couldn't do that. And then when that question was raised to different Republicans this week in the media, they would say, no, that wasn't an order. He was just asking questions. It's always this cop-out, Brett.
Yeah.
It's always just, he's just curious. He's just trolling. He's just joking until things happen and then they justify it. Like, I wish they would just be full-throated about their intentions, because it's easier for people to recognize, because they're just kind of doing the frog in the boiling pot, right? The temperature's rising as they're, he's joking, he's just trolling. He's a masterful troll until it happens. And then suddenly it's like, yeah, what's the problem?
Like, if Trump can be full-throated in his endorsement of Bubba, you can be full-throated. You can't say full-throated and expect me to listen to the rest of what you're saying.
Sure. Okay. I'm just gonna sit here and let everyone sit with that for the last 5 seconds.
Dude, I have to shower at the gym till I fix my plumbing. I'm not gonna be like sane. Live read.
All right, welcome back to the Damage Report. I'm Jordan Uhl, filling in for John Iadarola, and Brett Erlich is joining me.
It's good to be here.
Have you heard about Noble Mobile?
I didn't read the full message from Mike. He said no. He said live read after next break.
Next break.
So sit tight, all you people who want to save money
that's a
on
little
your
foreshadowing. That's a little foreshadowing, because you will hear about Noble Mobile later. Sorry, Mike. Let's start. Let's talk about another Mike. Yeah, it was literally.
No. If you talk rollover minutes, I'm gonna lose my mind.
We only get paid for one. All right, let's go with this.
If we lose the majority in the House and this radical element of the Democrat Party were able to take over, we've already seen that movie. They will try to end the Trump administration. He won't have 4 years, he'll have only 2, because they will move to impeach him.
Republicans are jumping ship like rats. Now, Speaker Mike Johnson may lose that title before midterms. Following Marjorie Taylor Greene's retirement, a group of Republicans have come out to warn Mike Johnson that he may lose his speakership before this term is over, due to even more upcoming resignations that could flip his narrow majority to the Democrats. In typical politician format, they're speaking to the press anonymously, but here's what one senior House Republican told Punchbowl News. More explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel, and they will lose the majority before this term is out. He went on to explain what he and other Republicans are upset by. This entire White House team has treated all members like garbage, all. And Mike Johnson has let it happen because he wanted it to happen. That is the sentiment of nearly all appropriators, authorizers, hawks, doves, rank and file. The arrogance of this White House team is off-putting to members who are run roughshod and threatened. They don't even allow little wins, like announcing small grants or even responding from agencies. Not even the high profile, the regular rank and file random members are more upset than ever. Members know they are going into the minority after the midterms. As I said, we don't know what representative made those comments, but Victoria Spartz responded to Greene's rebuke of the GOP with this. Unfortunately, there's a lot of truth to what Marjorie had to say. I can't blame her for leaving this institution that has betrayed the American people. Now, I'm not saying the prior comments came from her, but especially if they didn't, it demonstrates just how precarious Johnson's majority is. And fresh intra-party battles launched by upcoming discharge petitions may inflame those divisions even more. Representative Anna Paulina Luna told The Hill last week that she is ready to introduce a discharge petition on the issue of a congressional stock trading ban. And Representative Brian Fitzpatrick last week submitted a discharge petition to force a vote on legislation imposing punishing sanctions on countries enabling Russia's war against Ukraine. Brett, I mean, one side of this, let them fight, but also I think it's a reminder that people really need to start getting engaged as we go into midterms, because you could turn Trump into a lame duck even before then.
I think he knows he is, and he's just kind of doing it now. Like, I think he's just going through the motions. He's like, that's fine. Let's see what we can do. They're trying kind of to embrace this, like JD Vance goes out there and is like, the affordability crisis is really something that's near and dear to our hearts in the White House, suspiciously after that one Mom Donnie contest against Andrew Cuomo. Like, that's one thing they're doing. Like they're getting rid of tariffs. Like he knows stuff is bad. And to have Marjorie Taylor Greene go and to have other people say they're threatening to go, it's like super weird to see that like what's going on in the mind of someone in Congress is essentially, can I make more money and have a better life and job if I just quit? And have I, secured my future as a lobbyist enough to say, what the hell with all this? I'd rather screw Donald Trump over than anything else. Now, some of these people, when you're talking about what's happening in DC, maybe some of them are like signaling that they're fighting back because maybe they can get some PR for part of their constituency, especially in the House of Representatives. That's like maybe they live in an area with a lot of Ukrainian people. Maybe they are like Anna Paulina Luna is trying to really shore up this populist right wing thing that really is against insider trading. And Trump wants to position himself as the one, though, who is against corruption among all these. He can kind of fend off the high-ranking, like political machine insider Washington people. But like he's been president twice now. And it's over the course of 10 years. How has he not fixed all this stuff already? That's the thing, is like the longer it goes on, the harder it is for people to really keep pulling for him. And this is just this is a kind of an indicator and a symptom that he is losing control over everything. We talked already today about how Bondi is under attack. People are going after Mike Johnson, who, by the way, is like, we've seen this movie before. Mike, we've seen movies with people like you in it before. They end up having like some creepy Nazi basement where they try to like influence America while having like a torture sex den for children. Like that is you. You drink blood of children. That's what I think about Mike Johnson.
Well, I think your point about the affordability language we're seeing from people like Vance is really interesting. And I don't know if you saw this morning, but Trump is considering shakeups at the top levels of his administration. We could see a new chief of staff as early as next year, despite last week bragging about how great Susie Wiles is. I mean, that was one thing I was really worried about when she was going to be chief of staff. I mean, this is somebody you did not hear about during the campaign, but everyone said she was really effective. And that's what worried me the most, because she, as it was reported out, was really good about keeping him on topic, keeping him focused on the trail. And then in the White House, I was worried about her being really effective. I wouldn't call it a good thing, but the one kind of silver lining to the first Trump administration was he was so easily distractible. I mean, we all remember Matt Gertz at Media Matters did a great job chronicling this. There would be a segment on Fox News, and minutes later there would be a Trump tweet about it, and that would become their priority. It's less of that now. I'm sure he's still consuming a lot of TV, but that's what dictated Trump policy and Trump priorities during the first term. He had no object permanence. And now that they're seeing, hey, you saw it also, you mentioned the Mamdani press conference, or appearance in the Oval Office. He even said, Trump said, wow, there's a lot of interest in this meeting. We have foreign leaders come in and no one cares as much as they do about this. And that's how he operates. Like that's what he wants. He wants the attention. It's good for ratings. And that's what he got. So for him, it's, well, they like something about this guy and I want them to like something about me. And to Mamdani's credit, it seems like he leaned into that by saying, when I talked to your voters after election day, they talked about affordability. So for them, it seems like, well, we got to focus on this. Let's get out there and just start talking about it. I don't trust them to deliver on it, because ultimately they're going to work on behalf of corporations, billionaires, and special interests. But it's going to be an interesting 6 to 12 months to see how they navigate this upcoming potential bloodbath in the midterms. But Any final thoughts, Brett?
Yeah, and just to call what that gaggle was in the Oval Office with Mondani, you've heard of meet and greets. This was a chat and pat. They chatted, they patted each other. There's a little elbowing, but mostly pat. You chat and pat. That's what I'm calling it.
Yeah. Well, Brett, have you heard about Noble Mobile?
I will have after the break.
we gotta take another break.
Mike's head is in his hand.
He did the arms thing again. Oh, we love you, Mike.
God, we're terrorists. The producers go through so much before the show in such a short time. We should be nice to them.
Yes.
He's smiling though, but a dead inside smile.
His head was in his hands. Oh no. Sorry, Mike. All right, let's go to YouTube comments. Oh, CDN Norse Dog Dad sent a gift membership. Thank you. As did Dragon Dancer 2022. Thank you. Scott Robinson on YouTube says, always miss John when he's gone, but this is probably the best duo to fill in. It's almost like they're friends or something.
You hear that, Sharon and Yaz? You hear that? I don't want to hear about it. Tomorrow, if that same person says that they're the best, if anyone says they're the best, just because they're nicer than us, they look better than us, they do more for society than at least I do, Jordan contributes. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Colin Hutton says, I'm delighted to see the debut of Yule Time starring Jordan Uhl on the TYT network today. Yeah, that's it. That's what we're working on the new graphics. Mike should have had them done, so please direct all of your complaints to Mike. I'll give you his phone number and email at the next break. Softball Dragon says, what the heck? Jordan and Brett on a Tuesday? There weren't any tea times available? Who's letting John have more time off? Wish I was golfing. We're golfing Friday and Sunday, Softball Dragon, so don't worry about us. Ravaging Wolverine says, I remember when passing the bar exam was considered an achievement. Clearly, we were lied to.
Depends on what state.
Level 8. What's that, Brett?
Depends on what state, you know what I mean? California bar is hard.
California's tough. Florida's tough.
But many
now with
states
this
have
UBE stuff.
The what?
Universal bar exam.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Most of them are all just the same test now.
Got it.
Level 18 What Girl says, is it me or does this legal orders thing kind of seem like Trump's declassifying thing? As long as Trump thinks it's legal, it's legal. What is the law but just a subjective interpretation? Gargoyle Dragon says, Brett, I was just telling coworkers today that most Mickey J's out there were basically Froyos, that creepy villain from Disney's Hunchback. They are all basically him. What does that mean? What is Mickey J's?
I don't know Mickey J's, but I know
Frollo
is the absolute most horrifying Disney Golden Age villain. He's like a cardinal or a count. He's a man of the cloth who lusts after Esmeralda, and that climactic scene is so creepy. He's like, I feel it in my loins. It's really, really creepy. Ugh, I hate count. That's a tough one to like. Hunchback.
Okay, well, I have nothing to say there. I don't know what you're talking about. But I'll leave it to Brett, the Disney expert.
A certain level of intelligence and prowess and humility to admit you have nothing to contribute.
I'm just not I'm not a film guy. I don't know the Disney lore. I'm sorry. Brett, have you heard about Noble Mobile?
I will have after the break. Look at that. We got 10 seconds. Mike has the most robust hands for the countdown. It's a strong.
He's great at this.
He's really good. Let's do the next story.
Yeah, I was just going to say, let's get into our next block. Brett, have you heard about Noble Mobile?
Tell me more.
Noble Mobile is the only wireless plan that pays you to use your phone less. Switch to Noble's No Bull plan and get unlimited data for only $50 a month. For any data you don't use, you get cash back that you can spend however you want. That includes tea times, Brett.
Ooh.
Stop letting your unused data go into the pockets of billionaires and shareholders. Switch to Noble and take control of your data and save money at the same time. People who switch to Noble save an average of $500 to $1,000 a year on their phone bill. That is a lot of golf. Switch to Noble today by visiting go.tyt.com/switch. It supports TYT and our mission of delivering true independent media. Again, that's go.tyt.com/switch.
Just really
Now,
quick.
Mike,
It's like magic.
Yeah.
It's like magic. And the kind of magic, look at this. See over the shoulder right here? Look at this.
Wait, what?
Abracadabra.
No
Alakazam. Zam. Zam? Zam. I can't do it. I gotta look. Zam. I turned it off.
Wow.
There's a lot of them in there. Not working. I'll work on it. Noble Mobile's more magic than that.
I didn't think that could be topped, but Noble has done it. That's impressive. Let's get into our next story. This story is like a Russian nesting doll of fraud. Joseph Schwartz is a 65-year-old former nursing home magnate from New Jersey. Schwartz was indicted in 2022 during the Biden administration for allegedly using $38 million in payroll taxes for his own personal gain and for other expenses of the staffing companies, according to a court filing. After Schwartz pleaded guilty in November 2024, the case was picked up during the Trump administration by the office run by Alina Habba, who previously worked on Trump's personal legal team. In April of this year, Alina Habba bragged about her role in his 3-year prison sentence. She said he oversaw a collapsed nursing home empire and failed to pay employment taxes, according to the Washington Post. Around that time, Schwartz paid $960,000 to 2 lobbyists seeking a federal pardon, according to their lobbying filing. Those lobbyists? The lobbyists, right-wing provocateurs Jack Berkman and Jacob Wohl, noted on the disclosure form that they had been convicted of telecommunications fraud in Ohio in connection with a robocall scheme designed to deter the turnout of minority voters. They also face sentencing next month in Michigan on a similar robocall case and have been subject to millions of dollars in fines in a related case brought by the Federal Communications Commission. There's one other element to the Jack Berkman, Jacob Wohl lore that some people might remember, but during the 2020 Democratic primary, they had a series of increasingly outlandish press conferences on Jack Berkman's front porch with these wildly, and obviously bogus claims about each candidate that just routinely devolved into almost performance art. But I mean, some of the ones are so sensational, and I also can't repeat some of them because they were sexual in nature. But it was a riot to watch because it was so obvious these two are just like scammers and hucksters. But here they are again. And despite one of the Trump administration's star lawyers boasting about his sentencing and cracking down on this alleged fraudster, Trump issued a full and unconditional pardon on November 14th. But mysteriously, the language around his original case started to change. Suddenly, it was the Biden administration's fault. Berkman told the Washington Post, "We are just so proud and delighted that the president pardoned him. Other than that, I can't talk about clients. I'm sure you understand." In a follow-up email, he called Schwartz a wonderful human being and man of God who had been unfairly accused by the Biden DOJ. The White House also pointed to a comment from Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, who said in a recent briefing that Trump was most interested in pardoning those who were abused and used by the Biden Department of Justice. The White House also argued that Schwartz's sentence was too harsh for a 65-year-old man already in deteriorating health. But in their statement, it omitted the fact that Alina Habba pushed for a sentence of 6 to 18 months in prison. Brett, what do you think? What do you think changed? What happened here?
The money, Lebowski. This is the thing that people don't really get about the Trump administration, and it's why people are so frustrated with, one of the reasons people hate him so much. But it really, once you see it, at least frees you up to not go crazy. Like, he is a fraudster, he is a huckster, he is just like these dudes. He's, when he said in the chat and pat with Mom Donnie that, like, you say stuff when you're running for office, he's just admitting he doesn't mean a lot of stuff. That is in a lot of people's arguments. But like, he got money and changed this person's sentence as a result of the money, it seems, according to the reports. That's it. That's all I can see that's different. That's one thing. And the other hand, they put the auto pen on the wall of the like walk of shame or whatever Trump put up to signify, listen, Biden is this guy who signs these pardons, signs these bills into law, but specifically they focus on the pardons, and he doesn't even know what he's pardoning. So this puts Trump in a sticky situation. He either needs to say, well, he gave me $1 million, and so I said he's fine now, which I wouldn't put past him to say, thinking he'll get away with it because it is official presidential business to pardon people. Or just like the guy who did the weird crypto financial sex trafficking laundering scheme, who he pardoned, he'll just be like, oh, I didn't even know who that was. But like, this is so difficult for us who oppose Trump to go through, because we're just like, he's exactly who we say he is. He's proving it day in and day out. There's no other way to interpret this other than like, either he's losing his mind, forgetting that his team advocated for this thing he's now blaming on Biden, or he just doesn't care and hopes he's gonna slide one by you.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if there was money, and the Post reporting didn't indicate any money transferred to Trump, but it seems very suspicious, especially for the two people who played a role as lobbyists here on his behalf. But also, this isn't the first instance of money flowing somewhere.
Right.
We know money went into Trump's campaign, and people then were pardoned. But with all of these other schemes and scams and different like crypto enterprises, a lot of that's untraceable. So it's very easy to kind of move money, and much harder to track for people who should be monitoring for that kind of corruption. So we just don't know. Or maybe there's a promise of a campaign donation for Trump's illegal third term. We don't know, but it's not looking good. Let's get into our last story before we wrap this hour, starting with this.
We've seen images of families, children are crying. It's just sort of shocking in this country. Never having seen that type of thing.
No, I think that our law enforcement officers are doing everything appropriately and correct.
Kristi Noem says ICE agents are doing everything appropriately and correct. She says that as we learn that a record number of children are being held in detention centers. Going to try to not get too angry about this reality, but it's important that we know what's going on. Since the start of this year, some 600 immigrant children have been placed in government shelters by ICE, according to government data. That figure, which has not been previously reported, is already higher than the tally for the previous 4 years combined. And it is the highest number since record keeping began a decade ago. The average length of stay has grown to nearly 6 months, up from 1 month under Biden. This alarming spike isn't due to an influx of new arrivals, nor are there arrests for crimes in most cases. In a majority of the cases ProPublica examined, kids ended up in shelters in ways government officials say they never would have in the past. after routine immigration court hearings or appointments, or because they were at a home or a business when immigration authorities showed up to arrest someone else. In around 150 cases, children were taken into federal custody after traffic stops. The trend is especially noticeable in states like Florida, where thousands of state and local police, including Highway Patrol, have been deputized to enforce immigration laws. We don't know everything we would like to as of yet about the conditions they're facing, but it seems like they're being threatened with long-lasting detention if they don't agree to be deported. We learned this from a government document obtained during a court case. About that document, it warns them that if they do not choose to leave the country within 72 hours, they will be detained in the custody of the United States government for a prolonged period of time. The document also warned that if the person who sought to sponsor the minors was undocumented, they would be subject to arrest and removal or to criminal penalties for aiding your illegal entry. As people continue to turn away from Trump's immigration policies, stories like this one will be core to continuing that movement away from the barbarity we've seen in 2025. Brett, what do you think?
The central premise that I have to reiterate to a lot of my friends and people I talk to when they're talking about immigration is like the solution can't be illegal. This is America. You have rights. The solution can't be illegal, because these same people will be like, you can't, like if you got pulled over and someone searched your car for drugs and there was no indication that there was drugs in the car, you'd be like, that is weird that you're doing this. That's violating my rights. You have no reason to search the car. You just made one up. That's something they can wrap their mind around. As soon as they're like, oh, and it should go off in your mind, this is really fishy, when it's like, oh, we conducted a routine traffic stop. That is a tale as old as time. I also have to explain to people like the reason that there are sanctuary cities, the reason that it hurts your safety in a city if you report everybody to ICE because you don't get anyone in the area to comply with law enforcement. And that's why they separate it. Here, I understand that like if you break the law, there should be consequences. If you're here illegally, there is already a process that Obama used to get rid of tons of people from the nation. You hate him, but at least it was more legal than what Trump is doing right now. And yeah, this is the stuff that as soon as it creeps into like we're throwing entire families out of the country because someone had a taillight out at a time when the Supreme Court has said stuff like it's totally fine to just profile people for the color of their skin. That's a problem, and it should scare the hell out of these same people who are scared of government overreach and the loss of their own rights when it comes to like, can I have a little bit of weed in the car?
Yeah. I mean, you're putting again children in jail for something that they didn't do. Many of these kids some of them are born here. I mean, if they're brought here as children, there are some protections for that, like the Dreamers, the delayed action for childhood arrivals. I mean, these are things that we should have fixed and addressed to reckon with the realities of our immigration. But no, what are we doing? We're just going to put kids in jail and threaten them, deprive them of any sort of due process. We know in these family detention centers, this has been a problem, especially under the Obama administration, but has persisted until now. They're deprived of access to lawyers, legal representation, a basic explanation of their rights. Some days lawyers have tried to go in places like Karnes County, Texas, and it's just, no, lawyers aren't allowed in today. Why? Because we decided not to. That's how it works. It's absolutely heinous that we're doing this. And I think as we go into the holiday season, many of us are fortunate to spend time with our loved ones and our families. Think about the ones who can't. Think about the people who just had their lives upended this year, this week, today. And now their kids are sitting in a cell and they're at risk of deportation. Will they ever see their kids again? That's what's happening. It's disgusting. We've got more. We got to take a break, but we've got more in the aftermath, so stick around. Welcome to the Aftermath. I'm Jordan Uhl filling in for John Idarola. And did you know that Noble Mobile is the only wireless?
No, we did it on Jordan. Jordan, we did it. We did Noble already. Guys, this is the rally towel from when Ohtani hit 3 home runs and struck out 10. I went to the game. Sorry, I'm folding it. Anyways, what about, so let's say I want unlimited data.
Yeah. What if you don't use all your data? We're never going to be able to do this show again.
You're going to be fine. All right, are we doing any show stories, or are we just rapping?
I think Mike said just riff about cell phone data for 30 minutes.
Look, cause damn.
All right, let's get into our next story. Trump loves lying about the cost of electricity and energy. Here's one example. If affordability is you issue, verbatim, vote Republican. Energy costs, as an example, are plummeting, getting close to $2 a gallon gasoline. When energy goes down, everything else follows. And it has. President DJT. Now, quick fact check beyond just the typos. I looked up the average price of gas nationally this week, today. I mean, this is from earlier this month, but the data is the same. It is within a fraction of a cent different than where it was from when he took office. The price has fluctuated throughout the year, but there is no substantial change, let alone a decrease, since he took office. So this idea, and it's above $3 nationally on average. As we know, in California, it's significantly higher. But this idea that it's close to $2 is just pulled out of thin air, like everything with him. But here in the real world where we live, Americans are suffering because their electricity bills are surging and more people are getting their power shut off. Average electricity costs have risen 11% since January, more than 3 times the rate of inflation. Although there is no national count of electricity shutoffs, data from select utilities in 11 states show that disconnections have risen in at least 8 of them since last year. In some areas, such as New York City, the surge has been dramatic, with residential shutoffs in August up 5-fold from a year ago, utility filings show. And you can see here in the chart that past due balances are at an all-time high. You could see from Q1 2022, past due balance average was $600. Now it's at $789 in Q2 of this year. Nearly 1 in 20 households, or about 14 million Americans, were so behind on utility debt that it was reported to collections agencies, or in arrears, as of June, according to an analysis by the Century Foundation and Protect Borrowers, a nonprofit that advocates for consumers. Meanwhile, the average overdue balance of $789 has risen 32% since 2022. Now, here's just one family's experience. Misty Pilou, her family lived in the dark for several days this month. Pilou's power was shut off on November 13th because of $602 in unpaid bills, the latest in a string of financial humiliations that began 6 months ago after her husband lost his $20 an hour excavation job in northeastern Pennsylvania. The recent government shutdown dealt another blow, delaying federal funding for programs that helped the family pay for food and utilities. Although Pilou's lights were temporarily turned back on last week, they were set to be disconnected again if she didn't pay another $102. With an overdrawn bank account, she was bracing to be without power again. Last time, her family ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for dinner and slept in hoodies and gloves to keep warm. I feel so useless and helpless, the 44-year-old said. Now, Brett, stories like this are not uncommon now. And despite promising to address problems of affordability, like I said earlier in the show, the Trump administration has not delivered. And it seems like there's just, I mean, throughout all the topics we've covered today, mass deportations, going after political enemies, going after Democrats for talking to military members about potential illegal orders, it seems like an issue of missed priorities. But then I saw today This is what Trump has been focused on lately. Matthew Baloney, a reporter, says that Paramount is going to release Rush Hour 4 after prodding from Trump on behalf of Brett Ratner. A distribution deal, producer Tarek Ben Ammar is lining up financing. Instead of focusing on affordability, instead of focusing on the cost of utilities, the cost of living in this country, Trump's vanity projects continue to rank above them all. The ballroom, renovations of the White House, UFC at the White House, and now Rush Hour 4. How does that help working families in this country?
People cannot afford electricity. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
That's a Rush Hour reference.
Yes.
They cannot afford heating around their house. That's a Jackie Chan reference. He's a child. So Donald Trump he's trying to, another movie reference, Jedi mind trick people into thinking that gasoline is cheaper now. Scott Bessent recently did an interview where he said, a lot of the stuff that the other side does is just tell you that it's good when it's not. We're not gonna do that. Then Trump's like, by the way, gas is cheaper than the price of it. And we're all sitting there, and Trump, as I said on this show, Trump is the best at that. He is the only one who really has been able to tell people it's good, and millions of people go must be good. I won't, trust my lion eyes. But it's so bad right now, and electricity prices are going up. And people use that, and he is right that generally when the cost of gasoline goes down, when the cost of oil goes down, that is probably the most, from what I've heard and read, the most significant driver of reducing prices along the supply chain. So all the stuff that goes into the stuff you end up buying gets cheaper because the hardest thing to do in a globalized economy is to get it from one place to another, and we use gas to do that in every step of the way. But it's not cheaper. It's not cheaper. And the thing that I think the left has a much stronger argument in is to say listen, every step of the way, when prices in the supply chain have gone down, the costs in the supply chain have gone down to make stuff. The cost of stuff on the shelves has not. Why? Because every time we try to incentivize companies to lower their prices, they just don't. They just don't lower the prices because you're gonna take out an extra loan. You're gonna put it on the credit card. They're gonna get their money at that price point. And they're fine selling less at a higher price because it's all about the executives and the shareholders taking the money home. Yeah. Trump's not gonna fix that because he's actually just a basic ass conservative who's I make, buy low, sell high.
Yeah. Well, let's get to another story where we have members of Trump's administration wasting money. Starting with this.
I tell everybody that every dollar that goes out the door that shouldn't be spent is somebody's Social Security check that won't be there someday when they need it.
I'm not the defund everything guy. I'm just saying Chris Wray doesn't need a government-funded G5 jet to go to vacation. Maybe we ground that plane. $15,000 every time it takes off. Just a thought.
Minimum.
What a surprise. More hypocrisy from the Trump administration. While Kash, Patel, and Kristi Noem talked a big game on cutting down government spending and not wasting taxpayer money, that's exactly what they're doing. The most recent example was Patel and Noem spending Saturday night sitting in a life-size pink Lego Cadillac and posing on the carpet at the Las Vegas F1 Grand Prix. You can see here from Sahil Kapoor, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem and FBI Director Kash Patel are here in Las Vegas for tonight's F1 race, getting a tour of the paddock and checking out this Lego car. The two Trump officials then received a tour of the paddock from F1 officials. I've always kind of been a NASCAR fan and been learning a lot about F1 the last couple of years, and we're excited to see everybody race. Noem told the outlet. Patel chimed in to call Formula One of the greatest sports. Now, these two have been scrutinized for spending money on nonsense. First, you have Kristi Noem. Here, Coast Guard buys 2 private jets for Noem, costing $172 million, that headline from the New York Times. Then, Kash Patel just treats his FBI plane like an Uber. Kash Patel takes $60 million FBI jet to see his girlfriend 2 years after slamming his predecessor for using government plane. Here's another. Dave Brown says, quite a nugget. In October, Patel used the FBI jet to fly to a Texas hunting resort owned by the family of a Republican donor. The resort is called Boondoggle Ranch. And then another, finally, from the New York Times, Patel under scrutiny for use of SWAT teams to protect his girlfriend. Brett, I think that sets an example for all of us fellows out there. If you're not deploying a SWAT team to protect your loved one, do you really love them?
One of the most shocking things I have seen in a very long time in the news is that Kash Patel has a girlfriend. You know?
Yeah, okay.
And he needs a SWAT team to protect his girlfriend. Like, dude, they run for office. This is the most telling thing, is just Trump being like, oh, the reason that this woman called Mamdani a jihadi is because you say stuff when you're running. You just say stuff when you're running for office. You just say stuff. Kash Patel, Kristi Noem, they say that they're not going to waste it. They're not mad that they're wasting taxpayer money, that their predecessors weren't paying taxpayer money. They're mad that they don't get to use taxpayer money to do whatever they want. And they're in a pink Lego Cadillac enjoying a race. The only race that the Trump administration enjoys besides white people is the F1 race. It's so on the nose, man. It's so on the nose. $172 million, and they're cutting out aid for countries that need it. They're cutting social programs. What the thing about the Republicans is, they're like, listen, oh, we're tired of spending money abroad on these other people, America first. But they don't take that money and reinvest it into the people here. They just don't. They put it into Kash Patel's jet, protecting his girlfriend that no one cares about. Why can't more people be like Brad Sherman, who flies commercials so people can tell that he's kind of creepy when he's looking through his Twitter feed next to them in Coach?
You're still dying on the Brad Sherman hill.
He used to be my congressman.
Yeah. Let's get to our I believe our last story here, starting with this.
Don't you think it's time wireless service got a lot better, did a lot more, gave you more for your money? That's why we started Trump Mobile, a revolution in cell phone service, an unlimited plan on a nationwide network that protects your phone and you wherever you are.
Have you heard about Noble? Well, that ringing endorsement from Trump didn't help his son's new mobile phone grift. Back in June, Don Jr. and Eric Trump announced that Trump Mobile would be released in August. Here we are in November, and the phone is nowhere to be found. NBC News placed an order for a T1 phone in August, paying the $100 deposit for the purposes of tracking the $499 phone's development. And here's what happened after they placed their order. After confirming with the credit card company that the transaction was not fraudulent, NBC News received a confirmation email verifying the order. But the company provided no proactive updates after the order. NBC News made 5 separate phone calls to the Trump Mobile customer support line between September and November. At one point in October, the call operator promised a specific ship date, November 13th. That day passed without an update. And when NBC News followed up with the call center, an operator said the delivery would now be in the beginning of December with no specific date. The operator cited the government shutdown as a reason for the delay without further explanation. Now, last I checked, Trump Mobile isn't a government department, bureau, enterprise, anything. So blaming the shutdown is laughable. Neither Trump Mobile nor the Trump organization responded to NBC News's multiple requests for comment on when the phone would be released or why it's delayed. Now, this grift has had issues from the start. One being their claim that it was all made in America. The website also appears to have scrubbed any mention of T1 being made in the USA as originally promised, with the site now boasting that the American Proud design was brought to life right here in the USA with American hands behind every device. They also posted and then deleted the new phone design that looked just like Samsung's Galaxy S25 Ultra. Interesting. Looks like just a phone case on that. Brett, I know you did place a pre-order.
Yeah.
Have you gotten yours yet?
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten it, but I believe in it. And that belief is worth the thousands of dollars I spent, I think. The hope that one day I will have had it. Not that I have it, not that I will have it, but I will have potentially having it. Priceless. And so I paid less than priceless, but a lot more than no price in order to achieve this dream. So I don't know. I know some people who are like entrepreneurs. Do you know any entrepreneurs, Jordan? You know any entrepreneurs?
Sure.
Yeah, so you'll agree with this. A lot of times it's like I can get sandals. I think I can get sandals. I need to sell some sandals before I can acquire the actual sandals. But after I market them and sell them, I'll have enough money to buy the sandals and give them to the people. It's not that it's a dream that they have, and it's a plan that they have, and this is what this smells like to me. It smells like, we can do this thing where you get the phone and we can just repackage the phone. I found that the back pops off, or we got a laser thing that kind of etches a T into the back of the phone. That is, I think, legal, but we have a laser etcher guy and we'll sell it. It'll take time for us to do this, but I think this is a plan. So let's just start doing it and then see how it goes. And if not, we'll use some kind of government tax loophole to declare bankruptcy and get our money back, but not return it to the people we took it from. It's just such a grift. And it's happened like 500 or 600 times with Trump and his fans, because that's what this always was about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people that buy these things haven't recognized it's all just a massive grift. He's slapping his name on like essentially like drop shipping products, and charging like 10x. The watches are the funniest. I just saw they're releasing a new line of Trump watches, which are just like cheap Chinese watches with the Trump logo or Trump name on them, trying to make it look like a Rolex. I want to know who's buying those.
My favorite thing about this is you're like, people buy stupid merch all the time and cover themselves in iconography so they could potentially link their own personality to a successful one.
Don't even. We're done.
Mike,
cut his audio. Mike, cut his audio.
The Ohio State University.
Audio.
How dare they? Listen, I wear Wilmot, Wisconsin Raceway gear just because I went there and I thought the shirt was fly, not because I need it to survive. That said, I do have a Stanford blanket and a UCLA hat. I do have a Florida State helmet koozie and an LA Dodgers Let's Go thing. So I'm not blameless in this. I just think it's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's different. It's not that like the price is like a million times more than what it is.
Yeah.
And in fact, this jersey is bootleg. So
and also you guys are winning and Trump is losing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You beat UCLA.
You're buying an unpopular president's cheap watch.
I've had fun today, Jordan.
I did too, Brett. Despite that vile personal attack at the end, everything else was pretty good. Where can people Where can people find more of your commentary, Brett?
3 days a week, 3 weeks a month. You can find Happy Half Hour at twitch.tv/TYT. And then also in December, I will be once again on ABC's The year-end special, where we go through stuff that happened. And you'll be like, oh, that did happen. And you'll see my face. Then you'll see Katie Nolan. And then you'll see, Robin Roberts. It'll be fine. Well, it's a good time. You'll enjoy it.
It's always enjoyable to watch at the end of every year. My wife and I love to watch it and point at the screen every time Brett's on there. It's great. It's really funny. Definitely check that out. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Stay safe out there. Stay sane out there.